What is a scrapmaster? Well, you're about to find out, folks. My name is Rob Appell, and I have got the perfect project for all of you out there to help you get through a bunch of those fabrics, learn the color wheel, and have a great time making quilt blocks when you're not sure what to make. Are you ready? Let's get started. And that is right, folks. Welcome back to Sew Well with yours truly, Rob Appell. It is so wonderful to see you all out there. And today, yes, hopefully you've been following along with the weekly roll and spin building of the amazing Scrapmasters quilts. But maybe you just need a refresher. Maybe you're brand new. Maybe you've just been inspired. So this is more of a tutorial on how to do Scrapmasters as your personal project, or follow along with us on the weekly. I want to do a quick rundown on fabric choosing, how to read your patterns, how to build your blocks for your most successful scrap masters. And if you're brand new to this, what is a scrap master's quilt? Well, behind me, you see a quilt that features 6 different blocks, 35 different weeks, where we have randomly rolled and spun our way using some dice and a spinner to a mystery quilt, basically having no idea what the quilt will look like when it's done because we don't know what block we'll get each week, which is super fun. I've done a bit of a pre-roll and spin to prep out this week so I can show you how it works, but let me talk quickly about fabrics. My fabrics are prepped down into 3-inch or 2.5-inch squares so that I can quickly make series of 2.5-inch half square triangles and or the 2.5-inch squares, which all of the pattern blocks use. There are 6 blocks in series 1 and there are 6 blocks in series 2. Both of the series blocks are designed to all go together and be integrated, and that's what you're actually seeing with these black blocks on the wall here. The patterns are both free at robappell.com. We have one and one only rule, and that is there are no rules. Because what I have found is I love making quilts. I've been doing it for 20 years, but it's become my profession. So I want to just make quilts sometimes. Sometimes I don't know what to make. Sometimes that creates a little bit of anxiety, and I'm a true believer, right, in the fact this wellness is about mental health and mental wellness, and therefore I believe that quilting is a true key to many of our success in our mental health. So I often want to just make something to keep these hands busy and quiet my mind, but I don't always know what to make, and that creates anxiety. So by rolling a dice and spinning a color wheel, now I'm on my way whenever I want to be to making my own mystery quilt. And it's super fun, super easy, and it's a great way to work our way through our scraps. So yes, as we get ready to reintegrate what we've got going on here, let me remind you, the patterns are free and they're also written in a gray scale, black, gray, and white. And what I want you to see in these patterns is color families, not gradient. Down the road, you can get really good at gradients with blocks like Block 3, Series 2. But at first, I want you just to think as color families go. And that way you can see the black as a color family, the white as a color family, the gray as a color family. And then you can do different light, mediums, and darks within those color families to get your fabrics to glow. So when I did my pre-roll earlier, so I'd be prepared for all of us today, I took that 6-sided dice and I rolled it and I landed on 5. Okay, so I had that block 5. That's what we're going to work on today. Really cool star. I grabbed the color wheel and I spun it. And it landed on blue. Then with the 20-sided die, this chooses how many different fabrics individually we can use. How many different fabrics are we going to use? And there it is. 9 different fabrics for block number 5. And one of my early tricks is because in these squares here, I'm using black in every square as my background fabric, where in the squares behind me, they're all just multicolored. So super fun to build together. You can see I put them basically together in a rainbow style format. The blocks on the wall here, I've started dark to light, and I have a whole other series of blocks built as I am making the very last one here now as we get started. So for this, I want to teach you how to count out your pattern, how to read the pattern for your blocks. So let's start with our highest contrast, the black against the white families. And as I count those, I see 2, 4, 6, 8, and 2 more in the center. That's 10. So that means I need 10 of those as half square triangles. So really, because these are 3-inch squares, you can take 5 different groupings with a series and lay them together, draw your diagonal line, sew them through, and you'll end up with 2 each from those 3-inch squares. That's why this is the perfect size. So we will need 5 groupings to yield 10 of the black and white half square triangles. We need 2 more to read from the gray and the black combos. And funny enough, folks, when I've been doing all of these, I've been reading the white squares as the black family. So what we're going to build right now is a blue star center. Orange will be the gray family, black was the white family, and blue is the black family. So we're just going to follow that as we get started here. I'm going to go ahead and start to lay these out. Remember, our grays touch. I want to use as much variety as possible, and I've also been integrating, and this is something we're constantly doing, is adding new fabrics in. So don't forget, when you add in new fabrics, you want to go ahead and splash. Like this fabric has been splashed throughout different places in the quilt, 1 square per block for about 8 or 9 blocks, so that I was able to find this fabric that was the perfect choice for a bunch of different blocks, I thought anyways. Okay, and that is supposed to be, yes, the black color to the center, or excuse me, the white color to the center, the white color to the center here. So that gives me basically my blue fabrics all the way around. I also counted out the squares needed, right? And you can see that I needed 8 of those black. So the blue family, and I'm going to lay those now around, doing my best to make sure I never have the same fabrics touching at a seam. That's grunge, so I can flip it over. And if I'm going to do that trick, maybe I want to do that here and here. But you see, I don't want 2 grunges next to each other, so I'll bring this over here. I'll keep this here just for some variety. Okay? Now we'll go ahead and add on the star points again, and they point out, or black points in as a V. This is over here, so let's see if we can get a little bit more of a diagonal to it. There, and I believe I've been able to build that blue star without any of the same fabrics touching at the seams. That's what I'm looking for. Now what we can really do easily is build in our 4 patches, and it'll be easiest if I start with my gray readers. Try to get this in a different side, a way to get my eye to kind of triangulate those fabrics. This will bring a lot of pop in here. Okay, that looks like it's got a nice variety of placements. Then I'll go ahead and drop in the black squares. I love to work right off of the design space into my machine. Real convenient, because I'm going to go ahead and piece these together now using a webbing format for my chain piecing. Helps me stay very organized and fairly accurate as I go ahead and look at the block. This would be the time to change out, swap out anything. Not all blocks are beautiful, as a matter of fact. I made this block early on in the series, and I decided it just didn't have enough pizzazz. So I decided to make a different block with better fabrics, better choices, more pizzazz. So that's where I'm at now with that. So yeah, this one will be set aside. So as you look at what you've created and you start to lean into what you can go towards, again, we don't know where we're going to completely end up, but I can tell that I like the way this is going to fit in, probably over here somewhere. So I'm confident with the way it looks. I'm going to go ahead and lock down now a 1/4 inch seam guide. Everything will be straight sewing from here. And I'm going to start up here on the top of my first 2 columns, laying right sides together, going towards the 1/4 inch seam, and I'm going to chain piece these now all the way down these first two columns. Now the key is, for this webbing format, is I'm going to go ahead and just slide my work down on the machine, flop over my first groupings, grab this piece, remember where the top is, and set it here on the top, and go back into chain piecing. Adding on one unit as I go. I know, this is grunge, so I'm using the right sides wrongly. So that always messes with my mind a little there. Keep track of where your top of your squares are. Then just continually keep sliding the work down, adding on the new units column by column as you go until all of it is put together in one big series. Hey folks, I'm pretty sure I keep forgetting to try to sell you my dice and cool color wheel spinner. So make sure you check out robappell.com, $30 for the set. You actually get the printed pattern as well, $12 flat shipping. Thank you. Sorry I forgot to do the advertisement, but I got so excited about sewing the block. Okay, so now once the last unit's secured into the web, I'm going to take a moment and I'm going to lay it down, kind of flipped it so it's ready for the next approach into the machine. I'm opening up all the squares. I'm doing my best to read the design to make sure that everything is heading in the correct direction. Easier to take it apart and replace it now, but it looks good to me. So I'm going to go ahead and roll over these first two edges, and I'm just going to finger wiggle my seams together to allow them to nest. I'm not going to iron yet. What I am going to do though is make sure that every section nests in the same direction. So right now my top fabric is seamed down, so I will make sure that each union here is top fabric seamed down as I go. That'll help me stay organized throughout the rest of the piecing. Moving on to this third column, now I'm going to make sure that the lower section has the seams facing down, upper sections facing up, and continue on my way. I find that when I get onto the fourth seam of the columns, I like to flip over the work. Keeps me from accidentally stitching some things together I don't want. Still checking the seam allowance directions. Okay, let's have a look at our block. I tend to just kind of iron now everything in one direction as I go. Really happy with my color choices. It's going to integrate in fantastically. And now that I have all 35 blocks made, I can go ahead and start to lay them all out where I can see each and every one of them. And I'm going to work kind of by color families and groupings to see what I can do. It's a sharp looking block, folks. To see what I can do to put together 35 squares into another fantastic quilt. Next, thank you for checking this out, and check out the finishing of the Scrapmasters black version coming real soon.